Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of this podcast. I sat with Alex. He is one of my young mentors. He's an expert, on CrossFit and kind of all things physio and body related. And, I'm always so inspired by his attitude, his thirst for new experiences and knowledge, and his zest for life, which he combines with sort of a quite serious attitude in terms of hard work and staying consistent and all of this. So he is such an inspiration for me. I think he might be like an old soul, one of those. And I certainly love the peace and support that I get from his presence. So I hope you enjoy it and catch up soon. Bye. Take care. Here we are, one more episode of Thinkers and Doers. Today I have a very special guest with me, Alex. He's a CrossFit teacher and mentor. He's also a physio and many other things that he will tell us about during this episode. I'm particularly excited to have Alex here with us today because, even though he is so much younger than me, he is definitely a mentor, someone I admire, someone who motivates me, who kind of pushes me out of my comfort zone every time. And I'm super inspired by not only with what he's doing with his life and with how he sort of impacts very positively, a number of other people. But that was just a quick intro. I want to hear from the man himself. So, Alex, thank you so much for being here. It's a real pleasure. How are you today?
Hi, no. Same feelings here. I think it's a great opportunity for me to explain here some things about my life, and I'm very grateful that you are taking this recording for me, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast. So let's start. My name is Alex, as you said, and I'm a physiotherapist. Also, I coach CrossFit in some centers, and apart I did nutrition masters and osteopathy masters too, among other things. Yes.
And tell me a little bit about your trajectory. How did you end up kind of doing CrossFit? How did the passion sort of come about?
Well, I remember always the first day I started. Sorry, no, yes.
Yeah.
First day I started. One friend of mine came to the gym where I was going like a lot of years already, maybe with 18 years, and he came and told me about something like it was really cool and very high intensity, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm the best from the gym already. I can do that and that. I will win you whatever sport you like. So I remember the first workout was like bar muscle ups and handstand push-ups and maybe some push-ups. Yes, and I was like 30 minutes in the workout, and he already like was home.
Yeah.
I was like so frustrated, and next day I left the gym, the conventional gym, and went to the CrossFit gym, not like the only one that was in next to my city. So, and I was like the same weekend of that week there was a competition, and I inscribed myself and did like not bad at all. So
Yeah.
I was very motivated, very motivated.
So you
That
were
was the
also
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah.
One more time, sorry, the last bit.
Yeah, that was the beginning of my
That was the
addiction.
beginning. So
Yeah.
you were always like a sort of a gym-oriented, a sports-oriented person, right? Always kind of very physical, and then
Yeah.
suddenly the opportunity arose. Were you living was it in Barcelona or in that area at that
Yes,
time?
that was in Barcelona, or next to Barcelona, in a city named Mataró, and this is where my journey started. I was studying engineering, at that time. So basically, it changed my life because at the year or so from practicing CrossFit, I decided to not continuing my study in engineering and start something more physical, something about like comprehending the body and how it works. So I thought like the best that suited for me was a physiotherapist, and like from the first day to the end, I enjoyed it, and I think I learned a lot of things from the career. So I do not regret it. It's the best decision I could take. Go to the CrossFit gym and be like uh, so interested in sports, because you have to listen to yourself, I think.
You know, I find it amazing, obviously, what you just told me, and I have to say it doesn't surprise me, because from the get-go, from the very first time that I met you, I really just appreciated, because I couldn't not see it, or I couldn't not experience how vocational, right, your attitude was. I mean, it really felt like you were in the right place at the right time and giving your best to people. And I noticed how sort of people gravitated towards you for advice, for inspiration, and for the very unique human touch that you have. And it's true that you project that physicality. I mean, you're a big guy, you're a very strong guy, very sort of conscious of every single body kind of muscle and joints and organs and I don't know, everything, right? But I also find that you are very centered kind of psychologically, kind of very in terms of, because for me, and this is what I want to ask you next, CrossFit has proved to be an amazing outlet for, um, let's say, an optimal mental health, right? I mean, I speak for myself. I'm a very kind of mental person. I often get, I've got a lot of energy, and I find that energy is just kind of, yeah, kind of circulating like crazy if I don't do something with my body, if I don't exhaust the energy somehow. Prior to joining CrossFit, I would go to the gym occasionally, but I was mainly doing a bit of yoga at home. And much as I love yoga, I just find that for me personally, it didn't give me on the one hand, the competitive edge that I think I sort of needed and that I so appreciate, when you're there in CrossFit, in the context of a CrossFit class. And also the sheer physicality that you really get so tired. And in my case, I get very calm and very, what's the word? I feel like very visionary when I leave a CrossFit session. It's just kind of, I find it, I don't know.
Like tunnel vision, maybe, like, yeah,
it's very therapeutic.
All these distractions, you put them away and just focus.
Exactly. I get very focused. That's exactly it, and for example, for the last few days, I've not been going because, as you know, I've been, traveling a little bit, and I'm feeling it. I'm here, and I'm a little like, I'm really kind of craving going back to it as soon as possible. So I want to ask you, what is it? What can you tell us about the mental health aspect, the mental health side? How good is it for people? What have you witnessed in yourself and in others when it comes to that? Not just the physical aspect, but the mental aspects.
Well, I'm not an expert about mental health, but I can tell you from experience, like what I've seen and have felt too. So from my side, for me, it has been like close to your experience. I'm a very nervous person, and I feel like always have to be doing something. If not, I get really frustrated, and I have the feeling that I'm losing time, and I hate losing time. So when I went to, like, I think that the feeling that people crave in CrossFit is that the first time you go, you don't have to think at all. You just have to put work, and they say to you like, you have to do this and this, and you think, oh, that's crazy, it's a lot, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
But with it's crazy, but with time you see that when you stop thinking about what you can and you cannot do, it's amazing the things that actually your body can achieve. And uh, like not that also the adaptation that you see your body is transforming into some kind of intensity machine, and you can basically do anything that you propose
Mm.
physically. That it's connected to your mind at the end, because what happens if you every day have like big challenges and uh, maybe like some issues in your life, but you don't challenge yourself outside in other aspects. Everything is like it overpasses you emotionally. So like going to a gym, and it's not the same. Like you have 3 sets of bench press, maybe it's not the same as I tell you, you have to run and now climb and now crawl and now jump. It's you use your whole body, and then that helps you to, when some issues come to your life, just uh, get on with it, and fight to, if you can fix it, if not, just another thing will come, and maybe in the future things will go better. So that's I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I recognize everything that you say, and that is also part of what draws me to CrossFit. I started CrossFit, I think, very late in my life, but I don't want to say late because that's a prejudice. I mean, but let's
mm,
say that I see most of the people there like in their sort of early 20s or whatever, and I started well into my 40s, as you know, like kind of quite recently. And and I often doubt it because I told you several times, I thought, you know what, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can continue because I just find I don't have the right mobility or the right commitment, because then I interrupt it, because then
mm,
life happens and I've got other commitments and so on. But for some mysterious reason, I'm still there and I'm still doing it as best I can. And I find that one of the things that you just mentioned is that it's very challenge based, right? It's based on
mm,
challenges. So it's exactly that. It's not the same when you go to the gym and do three sets of whatever on your own, which is great as well. Don't get me wrong, but it
mm,
just doesn't give you that extra push that CrossFit does.
yeah,
For me, it's the challenge aspect, it's the competitive aspect, and then something
mm,
that you mentioned that for me is a challenge in itself, which is to follow instructions and not
mm,
question them. There's a certain kind of military touch in the best sense of the word. I tend to challenge what when I'm given instructions, let's say, because I consider myself an initiator. I love to kind of
mm,
be creative and change things around a little bit, but not in CrossFit though. You've got to do it, and some of the exercises, they are deceptively simple. They look simple, but then they're actually so complex.
mm,
So yeah, it's like a whole. It's both an art and a science, I think, and there's something kind of
yeah.
really crazy about it. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
It's like what you said. It has something like military, and it's basically that. So the beginning of CrossFit, to like in 2006, 2007, it was in like for a lot of years training for militaries in the Navy SEALs,
Yeah.
and then it translated to the civilians, and they started practicing like normal persons,
That's right.
and then it became CrossFit. So it's not far away from just obeying orders. they put them through crazy workouts, but CrossFit has now evolved to another level. Like, they are professional athletes. They look for every specific thing, like running, like weightlifting, swimming, every kind of gymnastics. So they look to every movement and detailed specific training for that movement, and that has become a sport. It's not a training anymore.
Mm.
And what moves people more, always, any sport, is is the the sport in itself. Like, you train and you become a fitness person, but you become an athlete when you're doing a sport. And how do you know it's a sport? Because I think the simple answer to that is that you have to complete some things in some time, and that's where the becoming the fastest, the strongest, and the smartest too, because you have to be very disciplined and knowing what and how you're going to complete that workout. um, then you become the best athlete. So yeah, you're not far away from the truth. That's it.
It's incredible, and you know what you just said. Like, I myself, I'm not there yet. What I mean is, I'm doing the practice. I haven't shifted my identity completely. I still don't think, wow, I'm an athlete. I don't have that yet, but I kind of know that I'm on my way. So I'm feeling that more than I did before. And I don't know, do you think that at some point, right, in the life of a CrossFitter, there's a click, something happens that you think, you know what, actually, this is it. This is who I am. This is part of my identity. Because I think when there's a shift in your identity, that's when like real transformation is possible. It's like you have no doubts anymore. You're not experimenting. You're fully committed. You're going, you're not questioning, and you fall, but you kind of come back up again, that kind of thing. And even the injuries that you get occasionally, they're just like little interruptions. You don't get demoralized by them. I used to get a little bit demoralized thinking, oh God, this is going to be well, right? When I had an issue with my arm or whatever,
Yeah.
this is going to be another 2 or 3 months, like, but there's always other options, always other muscles that you can kind of, train and so on. So yeah, what do you think? Is there a click? Is there a shift in your consciousness that suddenly you sort of
Mm.
turn into an athlete? Or do you think that attitude and that identity, like for example in your case, because maybe in some people has always been there from the start, or do you think it's possible to get it even later in life?
Yes, well, 2 points about that. First, as a physiotherapist, um, I can tell you that the process of adaptation is very hard,
Yeah.
because you are telling your body to stop being like an elbow and a shoulder and a leg. No, you're telling you grab that and move it to there. And it's not like in the gym. As I told, it's very different. You have to complete some work, and we don't see it as that in the gym. So as a physio, I tell you, at the beginning it's very hard for the body. You have to gain some mobility that you didn't ask for your body maybe in 20 years to do it, and now you want to do it, and also with weights. So not just your arm, it's with weights too. Also, you have to add to that the intensity. You are very tired, you are sweating, you want to go home and just sleep, and your body is shutting you down every workout. It's telling you, stop this is crazy. But at the same time, as you told me in the beginning, your mind is telling you, I kind of like it because I feel satisfied from that. It's like a little bit of an addiction, a dopamine addiction.
Mhm.
we as humans, I'm not a specialist, but as humans, I'm sure that I can say there is an correlation to complete a task and dopamine liberation. So we complete task and we are happy as humans. We are like that. So when you go to the gym and you have a list of things you have to do, this is boring. You complete tasks too, so I can get why people get also addicted to the gym, but there is no intensity there. At maybe 99% of the people doesn't get that intensity. Bodybuilding is another story. This is another story. So CrossFit. The second thing I wanted to say, if I remember now, was yes, the changing of your mind. No, there is a point, I think. So when you start, you go to classes, and that's enough for your body. I say maybe for the large majority of people, 2 years of classes is the best thing. And if you go constantly and don't have like more than 2 week stops, then 2 years is a good thing. There are another kind of people. Wait, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of having battery issues here.
Okay.
Okay. So when people are born with natural abilities of being an athlete, you can see them in them their whole life trajectory. They have been good in everything they did, physically speaking, and also mentally. They are like very driven, very focused on sport, and they are like athletes from born. But normal people like us, I think I'm normal people. That I everything I achieved, it was, I felt like it was a lot of hard work, and I've seen myself people that came many years later to the sport and achieve it in months. You know what I get in years, they get it in months. But that doesn't demotivate me, because I think, well, being constant and hard work always is better than talent. And then motivation is that I have a lot of capacity to be a hard worker, So the change in mind, it would be like the day you decide to stop flowing with the classes and start looking at your real flaws, physically speaking, and starting to attack them one by one, with maybe a help from external help, like a coach that guides you with a specific workout for you.
Exactly.
That is very difficult, and the majority of the athletes nowadays have like a very good coach, but the program is the same for everybody. But that specific training is like a higher level of a class, and then people really get to another level with that. Also, you have to start thinking about your sleep, your eating. Your whole life has to evolve a little bit around that. If not, you will get hurt at long.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you definitely need a holistic approach, right? Where
Yeah.
different aspects of your life have to be kind of compatible with each other, right? And serve each other in the process. Absolutely. So, but actually, when you do that, you become more congruent, right? More coherent as a person, because everything makes sense. It's not like one area of your life going this way, another area of your life going that way. They all kind of work together nicely, right? So it's what you're saying. It's the sports, it's the nutrition, it's maybe the focused work that you then do, etc., etc. I want to ask you very briefly, because I know this is a big topic. I have come across maybe like some months ago, on YouTube mainly, like there are certainly several, let's say, controversies about CrossFit.
Oh,
One
I
of
like.
them,
I like.
Yeah, one of the main, let's say, cons that people point, or people
Mm,
mention about CrossFit is that, yeah, that people experience so many injuries, right? Uh, a lot of
mm,
people seem to associate CrossFit with injuries. So I want to ask you, it's a kind of a brief question because I know it's a long subject, but in your own opinion, are you able to be sort of at the same time that you love CrossFit, but are you able to also be critical in any way toward CrossFit? Is there anything
yeah.
that you think, you know what, this is not for everybody, or maybe there are some limits and maybe we need to kind of really accompany people on their journeys to make sure they don't get too carried away, too excited? What is your take on this?
Yes. So hi. Uh, people will get injured 100% doing CrossFit, but there are a lot of kind of injuries. So majority of injuries are small things, especially if you're doing. I'm talking about the perfect athlete. He does his mobility, his stretching, he takes care of nutrition, and doesn't do crazy things while training. So that athlete will have 100% injuries. The perfect athlete. Uh, this athlete will work these injuries out, and maybe in a week or maybe a few days, he will be okay. That is 90% of injuries.
Okay.
Maybe across his career, in 10 years, 20, he will have a major issue, tendon, partial tendon broken or totally broken, maybe. It's no issue. Also, it's a big issue, but you can work out that issue out. You can correct it with
Okay.
physiotherapist, rehabilitation work, and also there is a very big thing about CrossFit. There are so many things that you can train that it's never the end, because I've seen people with one arm doing things more impressive than me,
Mm.
and they're doing CrossFit with one arm. And
Wow.
they, I mean, I will always have, I hope, two arms. So maybe I have a broken tendon here, or a thing, I have pain here, but uh, if you have an issue, like it's the same thing I told you. The athlete that evolves is the one that looks what he can better about himself, and
What if you
see
improve?
then
Exactly.
exactly, he will see, okay, I do snatches, I have pain in my left shoulder, so I will look what is happening here, and I will ask my physiotherapist or my uh, practitioner, what can I do about it, and maybe add some stretches or some strengthening of some kind, and then you will go to a next level, because your body adapts. And for my experience, most of people that come to me with CrossFit injuries are small things.
Okay.
Uh, I only see the biggest things when people don't move. So I always tell people, don't never stop moving, and that's like the key point of life. And then you can do sport, and that. On the other side, when you said, can you be a little bit criticize CrossFit? Yes, I say always the CrossFit is not for everybody.
Okay.
Uh,
That's what I was
it,
going to get to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but like I don't like. I like maybe seeing it, but I don't like football. And it's it's a sport, and it's very beautiful sport. But if I don't like to play it, will not get the benefits from play it. And the same thing is for CrossFit. You have to enjoy it. If not, it will not help you,
Oh,
because you will not seek that next level thing. And to be uh, to evolve, you always have to add some things. You cannot stay on the same um, workout. the interesting thing about CrossFit, I tell you today, do 10 push-ups and 10 pull-ups, 2 rounds. Okay, you say, good. Tomorrow, again and again and again. At some point, you will do it and you say, it's doing nothing for me. So CrossFit has to evolve for you and for everybody. That's why I was today speaking with a friend from the gym that when I started, you can win a competition doing the half of the things that I can do today. So today, the me from today, I could win everybody from 10 years ago. And that is for me, the truth for me, and the truth for almost anybody that is a little bit competitive in CrossFit, because it has evolved so much that every 5 years, it's like a complete new sport. It's a little bit exaggerated, but it's like that. So if you stay doing this, yeah, it's evolution. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know where it's going, but we know it's always harder, and every day it's harder, and every day it crushes you. That's the point.
You know, it's so good, Alex, to hear you, you know, speaking about CrossFit, because it's inevitable for me that I start thinking like, you know, where I'm at with this sport. I'm very grateful, I have to say, to CrossFit, because it has had kind of a life-changing impact, you know, on me. I think it's because it really has kind of helped me sort of stabilize my energies. Also, I'm at a point in my life, you know, where I am in a process of transformation. But I think not just me. I think most of us, because the world right now is kind of a bit of a crazy place, and it's pushing all of us to transform one thing or another. And I find that that challenging, let's say, approach that you receive in a CrossFit environment. Also, I have to say, I don't know if it's just in this particular box. I think some boxes are better than others, probably. I mean, in this particular one where I go to and where I met you, you know, the atmosphere, I have to say, is fantastic. I mean, on the whole, people are very friendly, and I think that really, for me, that's a very important thing. And also, I remember one of the teachers there saying something that I thought, okay, this is also an integral part of the CrossFit philosophy, which is, of course, people enjoy looking good. I mean, who doesn't, right? And everyone loves to see kind of, well, how their bodies have evolved and how they look fit and good and all of that. But the teacher was saying, you know, that is a consequence of the practice. But fitness itself is the goal, and kind of, you know, what you said, the holistic approach. And then you do look good as a result, almost as a happy accident, but not like that. That's not the focus so much as it is perhaps in a gym, where a lot of people go, you know, more with maybe a slightly more exclusive kind of aesthetic focus, right? So I also appreciate that variety of approaches that you get in CrossFit. Alex, we're going to conclude soon, because as we mentioned, this was going to be a quick chat, and I know you're a busy man, but I want to ask you, you know, in the context of personal development, right, personal growth, a holistic experience of life where we try to be congruent, where we try to be aligned with what life seems to want for us, where we try to do creative things for ourselves and for others, you know, and leave a positive impact, you know, on the planet, on the whole, on life, all of these things. What can you leave, myself and our listeners with? So something special that you want to maybe conclude our session today with, some kind of learning, some kind of teaching. It sounds like a big question, but it's just basically just something for inspiration.
Okay, inspiration. Okay, so there is one thing that I always go for, and is have objectives.
Okay.
You have to have a motivation to always grow and never have fear to change your life, even if that means like 100%, like 180, turning around. Um, don't don't have fear to leave your job and
Mm.
doing new things, because that's what I've done, and I think it has brought to me great things, great persons, and experiences. So I started doing that since 20 years old, maybe, and I will never stop. I think it's my the key for me to being happy is always strive to find a new thing for me, and never stop searching for new experiences. So that's I have explained myself very badly, but don't have fear to pursue your dreams, and things will come after that, because when you work and you try for your happiness, I think everything we talk about that, I think, sometimes, but everything I think it doesn't come
Everything
to my mind now.
aligns. Everything aligns. Right?
Aligns, that's the word.
Yeah.
Yes, everything aligns for you in a way, and you make it happen. Things will not happen if you don't make it happen.
Absolutely.
And we get old. I mean, every day counts.
Absolutely. So, I'm fascinated by everything you just said, not just because, I mean, it's not new advice. We all know this, but we keep forgetting.
Mm.
And then we keep reminding each other. So it's so good, to have people like you in our lives. I can hear your doggies and they want to participate as well. Maybe they can be on the show on another episode.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
Alex, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciated your
Thank you, Nuno.
your this chat. I hope we can reconvene sometime. I will also leave the details where people can find you and all that kind of stuff for everybody to know. So, Alex, thank you very much, and to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch up the next time. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Ciao, Nuno. Thank you.
Bye bye.